That's right, bridge guy. Indiana wants you, and you can't go back there. You'd be an idiot to go back there. Unless, of course, you live there. Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Stu Sutclif, faithfully converting oxygen into carbon dioxide on a daily basis. And I enjoyed this video. I actually, for the first time, I've done like 13 videos or 14, I don't know. But this is the first one I've actually done some investigative reporting on the Abigail Williams Liberty German case. And I'm no Anthony Greeno or Michael Stroop Katz, and I'm not like that other guy that always wears the headphones. What do I need headphones for? I mean, they'd make me look cool, but they'd mess up my hair. Oh, Stu, you wear headphones so you can hear yourself. Yeah, but that's funny because I can hear myself right now without the headphones. But maybe I hear myself off key. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I did some investigative reporting. I woke up this morning and I was thinking about medical examiners. I was thinking about coroners. I'm like, I got to get out there and educate myself on the difference. You know, what's the difference between oh, well, let me tell you this before I get too far ahead. I made a phone call to Carroll County Medical Examiner's Office, which turned out to be the coroner's office. There is no medical examiner's office in Carroll County. It's a coroner. All right. How many of you know, well, what's the difference between a medical examiner and a coroner? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're sure. You there, sir, in the green polo. Okay, well, my take on it is a coroner is a guy that walks up to a body, bends over, checks for a pulse, listens, and yeah, okay, he's dead, and signs a coroner's certificate. That's what a coroner does. Medical examiner is a pathologist, a medical doctor, and a pathologist. So you can get a coroner's report, you can get the medical report, the cause of death report. Okay. Before I get too far ahead of myself, ladies and gentlemen, to put this into context, but like I said, I did talk to a Mr. J.D. Cree in Carroll County at the coroner's office, and I have that for you. I have that recorded for you. Let me glance at my computer, and I just want to say a couple things. I want to make some comparisons here of how screwed up Carroll County is. Okay. Let me read you a little bit of this. We're going to talk about Jon Benet Ramsey here for a few minutes, and after a while you'll figure out why I'm doing this. Okay, let's bone up a little bit. When someone dies unexpectedly, an autopsy is performed as soon after death as possible. By the way, this is sourced from romper.com. Sometimes in a hospital, and other times at the medical examiner's office or crime lab. When they do the autopsy, particularly if the death was deemed suspicious. If police believe that a crime has occurred, the medical examiner will be a key player in obtaining evidence that could lead investigators to the person responsible. Sounds good to me. The case of Jon Benet Ramsey began as a missing child case. Her parents, John and Patsy, woke up early the morning of Christmas Day, discovered their 6-year-old daughter was missing from her bedroom. A ransom note was discovered on the staircase. Okay, I don't want to go over that, what we know. Patsy called the police to report her daughter missing, and investigators arrived on the scene. What happened from there is fascinated and at times horrified. The American public, over the past 22 years, what we do know is that Jon Ramsey discovered his daughter's body in the basement several hours after the ransom note was discovered. Her body remained in the Ramsey home for the rest of the day until the medical examiner arrived just after 8 p.m. local time. I don't think they needed a coroner in that case because obviously the girl was dead. Well, let me get down to the meat and potatoes of this. They give information on the autopsy. John E. Meyer, MD, was the pathologist who conducted the autopsy on Jon Benet Ramsey at the office of the Boulder County coroner. Jon Benet had long blonde hair fixed in 2 ponytails, one on the top of her head, one just below in a half up, half down style. She had green eyes and was wearing a small gold ring on one of her fingers on the palm of her left hand, and a heart was drawn in red ink. Meyer then moved on to what she was wearing when she was found, a long-sleeved white shirt with a sequined silver star on the chest. On her sleeve there was some dried mucus, probably from the nose to mouth. She wore matching white knit-long underwear. Beneath she wore white panties. They were embroidered with roses and the word Wednesday. The panties were soiled and urine and what Meyer described as having several areas of red staining. Her injuries were extensive. She had abrasions on the side of her face, and this is Jon Benet Ramsey we're talking about, between the ear and jaw, and possible petricial hemorrhages, tiny broken blood vessels in her eyes. There were also several small dark circles that police at one point thought might be marks by a taser gun. This was never proven, and no stun gun was ever recovered. She had a skull fracture, a subdural hemorrhage, bleeding in the brain, as well as bruises on her brain. He also noticed a white cord tying the wrists together, and a similar kind of white cord wrapped around her neck and double knotted around a wooden stick fashioned to be a garrote. The wooden stick, he believed, was a broken paintbrush which had the word Korea embossed on the gold of its surface. Well, the most troubling and perhaps unexpected finding were physical signs that JonBenet may have been sexually abused by an unknown person. These findings suggested that at the time of her death she had been sexually assaulted, but she may have experienced sexual trauma prior to the day she died as well. All her major organs were normal for a 6-year-old girl, but Meyer did note that her bladder was empty. This, together with the urine-stained underwear, led many to conclude that she had wet the bed during the night she died. But one piece of evidence found inside JonBenet's body, one that continues to confound detectives, were the contents of her stomach and small intestines. Fragments of yellow, light, and green tan apparent vegetable or fruit material, which may represent pineapple. This was of note because at the Ramsey home, an unfinished bowl of pineapple had been found in the kitchen, and if the medical examiner could determine how long ago JonBenet had eaten the pineapples, it would help detectives pinpoint the time of death and become one of the most contentious elements of the case. Okay. Now, guess what? Delphi and Carroll County, listen up. All right. Okay. The official cause of death report for JonBenet Ramsey. Is it available? You bet it is. Do I have a copy? Of course. Got it from the internet. This is the whole thing. It's only 1 page long. It's the final diagnosis. Gee, it's out there on the internet with all this other information about the case, which has pretty much been out there from day one. Well, you know what? The JonBenet Ramsey case is still under investigation. The investigation was never closed. How can this information be out here? Oh, it could hamper the investigation. We might have some people that false confessed because it's out there. Yeah, we did. John Carr. But his DNA didn't match. He was discounted. It had nothing to do with that, the death certificate being out there. What am I leading up to, ladies and gentlemen? That's not going to be too hard to figure out. Let's read this final diagnosis of the official death certificate of JonBenet Ramsey. It's very short. Okay. Paragraph 1. Ligature strangulation. Garroting. A. Circumferential. And some of these words, ladies and gentlemen, I just cannot, I don't know how to pronounce them. I'm not an English major. A ligature with associated ligature furrow of neck. B. Abrasions and potential hemorrhages, neck, petechial hemorrhages, conjunctival surfaces of eyes and skin or face, cranocerebria injuries. Okay. Scalp contusions, linear comminuted fracture of right side of skull, linear pattern of contusions of right cerebral hemisphere, subarachnoid, that's subarachnoid, I do not know how to spell that or pronounce that word, and subdural hemorrhages, small contusions, tips of temporal lobes, abrasions of right cheek, abrasions/contusions, posterior right shoulder, abrasions of left lower back and posterior left lower leg, abrasions and vascular congestion of vaginal mucosa. And there's another area here, toxicology studies. Blood ethanol, none detected, it's alcohol. Blood drug screen, no drugs detected. Okay. Clinicopathological correlation. Cause of death of this 6-year-old female is asphyxia by strangulation associated with cranocerebral trauma. John E. Meyer, MD, pathologist, 12/27/1996. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is my little call to the, this is a funky little device. Here's my call to the Carroll County Coroner's office that I made today. I spoke with J.D. Cree. Very nice gentleman. And you might have to turn the volume up to get this. And this is a funky little player here. But this is about 4 minutes long. Hello, is this the Carroll County Medical Examiner?
No, I'm a deputy coroner. We have no medical examiners in Indiana.
Oh, okay. I want to ask you a question, and my smartphone records all my calls, incoming and outgoing, just so I'll let you know. But I just have a simple question. How can I obtain a official cause of death report? Hello?
Is this for a family member?
No, sir, no.
Because you can get a death certificate at the health department.
Right. I don't want just a death certificate. I want the an official cause of death report for 2 murder victims in Delphi, Indiana.
I don't believe that is releasable at this time because the coroner is under court order not to release information regarding that case.
Do you know how long that order could possibly last? I mean, will it eventually be lifted? Because there's plenty of cases that involve minors, murder cases that are still under investigation, and that information has been made public.
Well, I can't tell you that. You can either call the prosecutor or the circuit court judge, but that order was issued at the request of the Carroll County prosecutor.
What is the prosecutor's name, if I can ask?
Well, it was under Prosecutor Rob Ives, who has been replaced by the current prosecutor is Nick McClellan. I don't know what his position on it is, but that was the order that was issued at the request of the prosecutor at the time.
Okay, so the prosecutor at present wasn't the one that originally made that order.
He made the request, no.
Right, right. Well, I appreciate the help. I appreciate your time. Carroll County just has basically a coroner, and if you actually like just use a doctor, like a random doctor, as a to determine cause of death, it's not like a full-time medical examiner.
No, we don't. No. In the state of Indiana, we use forensic pathologists in such cases, and the forensic pathologist that is used is at the discretion of the coroner.
Okay, great. Well, thanks. You've been a big help. What's your name? My name's Stuart Sutclif.
My name is J.D. Cree.
All right, Mr. Cree. Well, thanks for your time, and I'll try to pursue other avenues. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. Well, that was interesting. He was a very nice gentleman. He gave out more information than I expected. So the prosecutor makes a decision whether there's a gag order on the information released on the cause of death of Abby and Liberty. Doesn't it have to be signed by a judge too? I'm sure a judge must have something to do with that also. So, what's up? Why does Carroll County do this? Why do they operate the way they do? The public wants to know. Some people don't want to know or glad it's not released. God, they should never release it there. The public doesn't need to know anything. Yeah, we do. We sure do. There's checks and balances around here last time I checked. So, where do we go from here? We're not gonna see the death report, method of death. At least not at this time. And that's so strange to me when there's so many cases. It's just on the internet. It's public. They put that information on Jon Benet. They put her death certificate, final diagnosis out years and years ago. It's not new. It's been out there for a while. What are they trying to hide? And yeah, that's coming from me now. I've been sticking up for law enforcement and everybody else. It's like, what are you trying to hide now? Why is this case being handled differently than other cases that have been cited? Why do we have to keep asking over and over and over again what's going on with the cops up in Delphi, Indiana, and Carroll County? How about a news conference? How about addressing some of these issues? We're going to keep plugging. But in summary, Carroll County, Delphi has a coroner. Yeah, he just goes there with a stethoscope. Person's dead. And they can appoint any doctor that's a pathologist to do the post-mortem autopsy. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to see any pictures. I'm not interested in any photographs of the death scene. That's just not necessary. I hope that never gets out there. No real purpose for that. But the information, the text, what damage was done. What was the cause of death of Abby and Libby? Well, they say it was a strangulation. That's what they say. And again, if you look back through all these archives and past blogs and all that, there was more information that got out the first 3 days than there has in the year and a half since. That's very telling. Okay, well, let me know what y'all think. What should be the next step? Where do we go from here? Those that are really interested in this case. And I like to hear from young people too. If you're 14 or 15 years old and you have a question or you want to enter it, you might get shot down real quick. People don't realize that some questions out there that are strange, they're just from young people. They don't know how to word them right. And you might get jumped on by some of the adults. But don't give up, because some adults are really stupid. And actually, the PIDs, that's my relatives, we had to put up with an awful lot. The PIDs, they go back a long way. And, they actually, it got so bad they had to change their last name. And, my technical name is actually Stu Pid. But, that didn't work out too good. So at an early age, my parents changed it over to Sutclif. And I'm glad they did. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from... Oh, Mr. Bridge Guy! What do you think, dude? Are you watching my video, Mr. Killer? I hate your effing guts. I can't believe it's been this long. Yeah, go ahead, laugh. Yeah.
Stewie got away with it. He's laughing at you, huh? You're an idiot. He'll never get caught.
You dork. Maybe you will never get caught. Maybe you don't have a conscience. Maybe it won't bother you at all. You might go through life without a problem. But you know what, dude? There is a chance. Somebody's going to put 2 and 2 together and come out with 4. So, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Let me give you a good reason why the death report should be put out. You know, the method of death and exactly what the injuries were on the girls' bodies. That could trigger someone to recognize that they've heard that before. What if bridge guys told people before, I'd like to get a young girl and garrote her? You know, or just said it to a family member when he was drunk or something. They could put that together, you know. Oh, the kill method. Yeah, my uncle used to talk about wanting to kill people that certain way. That's not really common, you know. So he goes on a bridge with a deer kit with a little fanny pack with knives and cameras and pliers and whatever else, steel cord. Who knows what he brought in his little goodie bag. That's one reason why the release of the report, the death reports would be good. Help us out. So, let me know what you think. realstewsutcliffe@gmail.com. Oh, what's that? Looks like blood. Oh, that was terrible. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Till next time, au revoir.